Everyone's opening the gate. Let's go, Max! Let's go, Maccabees! Chevra Bezrat Hashem. Whoa! Woohoo! Let's go! Lekavod Shabbos! Lekavod YU Max!
It's I Blue for the halftime show.
Halftime show.
Halftime show of YU.
YU, Isaac, you gotta watch the game. Enos Cantor is there.
Why is he there?
I don't know.
How are they doing?
Him and Amari Stoudemire are there.
Wow, that's so random.
In the Milwaukee Bucks owner, they have a lot of special guests there. But we have special guests here. We have I Blue on. We have Moshe. And obviously we have the Tzaddik.
What about me?
The Tzaddik. I don't even know how to introduce my father. I don't even know what to do. Abba.
Avi Mori Vizikni.
Isaac, is that a grilled chicken sandwich?
It's some random garlic bread from an Indian place.
It's so fun.
So good.
All right, Chavra, Lekavod Shabbos, Lekavod Purim, getting ready for Purim, 17 days, 5 days until Shabbos, and Lekavod Shabbos already. Master of the world, Tefillah B'Shem Kol Yisrael, for Pesach Reuven ben Yosefa Sarah, Bracha Bas Yehudis, Miriam Doni Bas Chani Ucheved, Yona Bas Basia, Shir Bas Basia, Saner Reuven ben Manin, every Neshama and Klal Yisrael in the world should have a refuah, whether it's physically, mentally, spiritually, and any other issues. Master of the worlds, source of all good, you who are good to all, you created your universe for a good purpose in accordance with your primordial plan. Your ultimate purpose was for our good. You wanted us to fulfill our true destiny and come to the ultimate good. This true good is the ultimate goal of everything. All other goals must ultimately lead to this. It was for this that you created all the worlds with such amazing wisdom, from the beginning of Atzilus to the very end of Asiya, this world of action. Through our labor in this world, which came last in the actual work of creation, we can become merged and united with that which arose first in thought, the ultimate good of eternal good. Now, Ribbon Shalom, help us achieve the ultimate goal. Hashem, my God, and God of my fathers, God of compassion, help me fulfill your purpose and attain the good you want to give me. Let me serve you at all times, generally and wholeheartedly. Bezrat Hashem. Tefillah B'Shem Kol Yisrael. That was a powerful one. It's a powerful one. And Lekavod Purim. So we're going to learn some halachos for Purim to get ready. So we're going to start off in the halacha 24/7. And Davey, I'm admitting some chavra in the waiting room. I don't know why we have a waiting room. We're not that official. But Arba Parshios, right? So we're entering into the sea of the halachos for Purim. Beginning from Shabbos Rosh Chodesh Adar, which we just had, or if Rosh Chodesh Adar comes out during the week, the Shabbos before, we lead a series of Arba Parshios as maftir in order. They are Shkalim, which we just had, Zachor, Haran Achodesh. When we read Parshat Shkalim, because during the time of the Beis Hamikdash on Rosh Chodesh Adar, Beis Din would begin announcing that everyone should contribute their Shkalim for the public korbanos. Now we're talking about the meaning behind Shkalim and the four Parshios, and we're going to move to the Sicha. Parsha Shkalim is from the beginning of Parsha Kitisa, right? The first couple psukim. We read Parsha Zachor, which is a Torah obligation. This is the second Parsha. The Shabbos before Purim, to remind us of our duty to destroy evil incarnate Amalek, which is a major theme of Purim. Parsha Zachor is from the end of Parsha Kitisa. Oh, wait, Kitisa is filled with gems. Now, Parshas Para, and the Shabbos preceding a Chodesh, to recall that at this time, everyone would have to begin thinking about purifying themselves for the Korban Pesach. Parshas Para is from the beginning of Parshas Chukah. Now, the last Parsha, Chaver, what a halacha so far. We're understanding. We're understanding. We read Parshas HaChodesh on Shabbos Rosh Chodesh Nisan, or if Rosh Chodesh Nisan comes out during the week, the Shabbos before, to recall the first mitzvah given to the Jewish people and to acknowledge that Nisan is the first month of the Jewish calendar. Parshas HaChodesh is from the middle of Parshas Bo. Wow, what a halacha. What an halacha. Now, Chavra, we're about to begin Sichot 35 of Rabbi Nachman Sichot Haran. And like the fifth one, it's a complicated subject. We're going to be speaking a little bit about atheism and how it came to the world. And Rabbeinu had called it, foresaw it, along with previous Nevi'im. And it's complicated. I mean, I don't know so much about it. I never met an atheist in my life. I would love to hear what all of you have to say, but I just want to start off before we enter into the Sicha about the Chosev Lublin. He cites one of the Gemaras that say a person should always judge another person favorably, right? And then ask this, and then the Chosev Lublin asked the following question: who appointed this person to be a judge? So he answered his own question. Someone who always gives others the benefit of the doubt deserves to be a judge. So Chevra, if you want to be a judge of other people, we have to have good eyes. We have to have good eyes and always see the good points in every single person at first glance, and also ourselves as well, and how good we really are. So Chevra, we're entering Sicha 35, Benu Nachman. The Rebbe said, great atheism is coming to the world, right? This is over 200 years ago. Many times he told us, and this is his students, Reb Nassan, who's writing this down along with other students. Many times he told us that the world's many sins are resulting in great unbelief. Fortunate is he, Ashrei is the person who is strong in faith in these times. The Rebbe said that the fact he's predicting this will not prevent the godliness and confusion from increasing, and it would still be necessary to fortify one's faith. Now, however, we're delving in. Thousands of years ago, Daniel and others also predicted that unbelief would proliferate in the days before Mashiach, right? We're the last generation before Mashiach. We're the last one. We're the lowest generation. They said many will purify themselves and be refined and make themselves shining white, and the wicked will act wickedly, and only the wise will understand. So those people who are shining themselves in white, meaning in faith, throughout the chaos of the world, throughout the uncertainty, throughout all the questions, but remains truthful and faithful to himself and HaKadosh Baruch Hu, those people will understand. It has already been predicted that there will be great temptations before the Mashiach's arrival, before the coming of Mashiach. Right? As we see Avi Kirkowski wearing the hat to remind us all that we're yearning, we're constantly yearning. When many will purify themselves and be refined and make themselves shining white in faith, like we spoke about sentences ago. Fortunate indeed is the person who resists these temptations and remains firm in his belief. Right, so this generation, obviously, there's so many distractions. There's so many klipos, so many coverings of the truth and from the good. and from the beauty. But if we're able to remain firm, ashrei to that person. If we're able to resist those temptations because they're coming at us in all directions, we'll be able to have that higher perspective of the world and of other people. We can then understand, because we understand the Sichot from Rav Nachman, that we can judge others favorably. I actually saw someone, a Torah from Baderach once. The book I highly recommend. I didn't go through a lot of it, but I think in the first couple pages, Rav Judah Michel quotes Rabbi Nachman, who says, someone who sins, and I could get this wrong, so don't quote me, don't quote Rav Judah Michel, it could be completely wrong. But someone who sins, you have to tell yourself, if you see someone sinning, you have to tell yourself that that person was unaware, that that person never knew it was a sin. You can't believe that someone's sinning. You think a Jew, you think anyone in this world would want to sin at its core? No. There's just so many temptations. There's so many coverings, and that's what we're speaking about right now. So if one is able to remain firm from these temptations, he will be worthy of all the good promised us by the prophets and sages of old. A couple more sentences, Chavra. This is a long sikha. Knowing full well that this has already been predicted, it would seem ridiculous for a person to succumb to any temptation to abandon his belief. Now that we know this is the reality, that we are the last generation before Mashiach. The Mashiach's almost here. Hopefully this week, hopefully tonight. Now that we know that there's a lot of klipas, there's a lot of coverings in this world that are covering Kedusha. People, but also the world and physical things. Now that we know this secret, we shouldn't succumb to these temptations, right? Because through this, if we're misponen in it, we can have that higher perspective. It would seem obvious that every Jew would have enough intelligence to remain firm, but still it is a great trial. Many will fall away, and for this reason it is written that the wicked will act wickedly. This reminds me of Sichot 6 of Rabbeinu Nachman, the clown, the prankster that runs through the crowd with his fists closed. The fists are closed, and everyone in the crowd is like, who's this prankster? He's dressed up like Perm, right? His fists are closed. What's in his hand? Right? So they run after this person. The person finally turns around and says, oh, you want to know what's in my hand? And everyone's like, yes, yes, yes. Yes, show me what's in your hand. Opens his hand and it's nothing. Nothing in his hand. The Rebbe said, still I am revealing this for the sake of the faithful few who will remain strong in their belief. Like all of you guys, they will certainly have great conflicts within, but they see that this has already been predicted. It will give them additional strength and encouragement. So Chavra, this is sourced. This is sourced. I mean, early, like the prophets foresaw this. Rabbi Nachman foresaw this. It's down. It's written down. It's here. We have it on paper. Now that we know this is reality, how are we going to react? How will we strengthen our faith? How will we remain firm? How will we see the good points in every single person, in ourselves? Bezrat Hashem, questions, comments, please feel free. We covered halftime show. I hope the YU game didn't start.
Reb, I wanted to tell you, I have to spread it to the world what happened today just quickly in Shul. It's a very large sign, continuing what you're saying, all the signs of Mashiach. So I got into Shul today. I went for the first time back right near me. It's the largest Shul in North America, Orthodox Shul, largest one in North America. Beth Avram Yosef congregation of Toronto, thousands of families, multiple floors, big building. So you can imagine not so much like Chassidus has ever been there so much. So, you know, that they've been yearning, you know, one or two people I've met along the way, but the head Rabbi Korobkin, who, if you have ever seen the Kuzari, the English Kuzari, like the classic one, he's the guy that did the translation for that and the commentaries on that. You'll see his name there. So a known guy of the world, he stands up there in front of the congregation. And, he speaks about the Russian-Ukraine, issue that's going on right now. He tells us, none of us knew about the thousands of Jews that are in Kiev right now, where me and Jack were just, a year or two ago in Kiev. There's over 3,000 Jews in the shul, whatever, and we say, we need to do a tefillah for them. But what he chose to do the tefillah for was blew me away. He decided that the tefillah we're going to say, out of all like the Tehillim or whatever, I thought, it was going to be something classic, something, chose to do Rav Nassan Lakuti tefillah in front of the thousands of Chaver there. And it was just a crazy, everyone was connecting to Chassidus. It was really a sign of Mashiach, B'ezrat Hashem. But then I just want to say as well, you're talking about the holy atheists, that Rav Kook refers to, and the entire idea, and it's crazy. You somehow always speak about, what I was just thinking about, and at the Shabbos table this week, we were speaking about this idea, and with my family, some people are a little more choraidi, a little more open, a little more closed, different perspectives, and we're talking about this idea. How does one approach people who believe a little bit less, quote unquote, than we do? And we're reading some books, some rabbis that say, anyone who keeps Shabbos and kosher and sends their kids to Jewish school, okay, then they're included, and we have to keep them strong. But like, me and my other brother are saying, it's not enough. Like, what does that even mean? How could you say that's outreach? And we kind of understood for the first time Rav Yair and Rav Shlomo's sentence that there's no such thing as outreach. There's only inreach. Because if you think about it, exactly what you were just saying, that if someone really, really believes in a truth, lahavdil, like if someone knows a math equation or someone knows the skills of basketball, like Rabbi Isaac, not Rabbi, but
My point guard.
True point guard. No one will forget. But no, I think about it. It's like someone really knows something. Then it's not that other people that don't know it yet, or that think like a different way of approaching it. It's not like you're going to be angry at them, or it's not like you're going to feel like you're not connected to them. You're gonna feel sorry and like feel that they haven't learned it yet. Like it's so exciting. They still have an opportunity to learn the truth. Like if someone doesn't believe in something that you truly believe to be true, then all there is an exciting opportunity for them to just not have learned it yet. And so anyone that's part of our Jewish nation, regardless of what they've realized yet, if we really believe in Hashem, and anyone is simply a Jew, the simplest level, he's never even learned the Aleph Bet in his life, is still so connected. He just hasn't had the opportunity to learn yet, and that's on us to teach them. So there's no such thing as an atheist. There's just those that are still learning, and still searching. And B'ezrat Hashem, in reach only in reach all the time. L'chaim Mashiach.
L'chaim. Wow, powerful stuff. Always, Kira. Anyone else have anything to share? Reb Isaac, Reb Davy, Abba.
Yeah, actually, I have a little something to add on. No, just like he just said. I mean, I heard this actually from my rabbi, that he also says there's no such thing as an atheist, because really an atheist is a person that's just like, he's dealing with God all day, because he hates, usually they say they hate God. So they believe in God so much. They just have a horrible connection. But that's not a bad thing necessarily, because we all have the responsibility to take those people and just turn that bad connection into a good connection, because it's like the example of a person who calls someone up on their birthday and says, "I hate you," so much, and hangs up, versus the person that forgets that his friend even has a birthday. What's worse? It's worse that the guy forgot it. He has no connection at all. But a person that claims to be an atheist is usually the person that I rather speak to an atheist than speak to a guy who wears a kippah that just doesn't care about anything, because at least you can tell the atheist what's the right way and change the connection to a good connection. Like a guy rowing a boat, I rather someone who rows against the stream and tell him, look, you're going the wrong way, than someone who just throws the how do you say the thing? What's the mashot? The paddle just throws it out and says, you know what, I'm giving up. I'm going with the flow. Those people, the atheists, they're the ones that we could at least speak to and tell them to go to the right direction. Everyone has the connection.
Davey, that was beautiful. Jack, you sent
Thanks,
me
Al.
that piece from Rabbi Yossi Sikorsky. What's his name from the Five Towns?
I think
On
so.
on
I think so.
on Kitisa, right?
Yes.
That. So why don't you should say that it's related to this. Kitisa Rosh B'nai Israel. Like you should lift up others. Shouldn't think you're that much greater than others. You should lift them up. That's your avoda. You got to lift the others up.
So maybe I didn't listen to the last 15 minutes, or shachachti.
I'll send the link out.
But amazing, we could listen to it again. How amazing! What another opportunity. We've down. If you know the secrets, then you could reveal them if you want.
No, it's saying that a lot of people when they get more into like, learning and Torah and everything else, they feel like if they're with like the simple people that they're going to drag them down, like they're not on the same plane as them. So they kind of start to separate themselves a little bit. They start feeling a little uncomfortable around those people, but really you should go the opposite way. Like you shouldn't be trying to separate yourself as much as you should be trying to raise others up and inspire people. So he somehow learned this from Kitisa at Rosh B'nai Israel. You should lift, when you talk about the Machatzit Shekel to bar everything together, but something about at Rosh B'nai Israel, like you should lift their heads up,
Right. I think it's like a beautiful idea. Like Rav Yair was talking about it Thursday night in the Chovat Shir, which was very lofty. I definitely didn't understand a lot of it, but I'm still thinking about it. And, a couple of weeks ago, I think forgetting which Parsha before maybe Yitro, where Hashem says, Lich Red, right? To go down, right, to descend, or maybe it was like after the Chet HaEgel. It was last week, 2 weeks ago. Lechred, right? So Hashem tells Moshe to descend, right? And like Rav Yair's whole Torah is that like our generation is very focused on like being in the heavens, but when our feet aren't on the earth, right? Like we love like the spiritual stuff and but like we're almost like removing ourselves from like what's going on, right? So by Moshe going down, he dafka involved themselves with the people whose feet were on the ground, right? They weren't at the same spiritual level as Moshe Rabbeinu, right? Not even close, right? But Moshe could have separated himself from those people, but he chose to involve himself in dafka being in those places. And that's where the Aliyah really took place, by lifting those people up and by being a bonfire for those people to warm up. So, we could just try to be connectors from heaven and earth. I mean, that's why we have the tzaddikim in this world. It's mamash unbelievable. We're so lucky. They just connect heaven and earth. And we should just involve ourselves with them. We should listen to them. And I got to listen to the rest of the Yosef Shir, Rav Yosef. Cover Bezrat Hashem. Anyone else? Isaac, you have anything to share or we should conclude?
I got nothing. Love this year though.
That means you have everything to share. All right, we learned this today. Oh, I got to share you this line. Right, in Megillah, we all learned today, tafasta mirube lo tafasta. Tafasta mua tafasta. If you grasp many, you did not grasp anything. And if you grasp few, you grasp something. It's the deepest line in all of Shas. The deepest line of all of Shas. You know what Rabbi Yair says? You have a bookcase of $1 million. You have nothing. But if you have one book, mamash one book, you have everything. So all I see is one on Isaac's screen, so he has everything. He doesn't have nothing. Givaldic. Kavra, have a great night. Be well. Oh, Avi Karkowski has the secrets. Kavra, be well. Enjoy. Be besimcha, be healthy, and we'll continue tomorrow. Bezrat Hashem.